I'm Lance Lysowski, the Sabres beat writer for the Buffalo News. Here, still in Vancouver, not the best view, cold, cloudy, windy, and unfortunately loud, which is why I am recording this in my hotel room before I head to Edmonton. The Sabres were off today. They just played the back-to-back, the win in Seattle, the 3-2 loss against the Canucks on Tuesday night. Now it's on to the Oilers, who are 3-0-1 since that crazy game in KeyBank Center not long ago. If you guys don't remember it, the Sabres won in overtime. The goal was overturned after both teams returned to their respective locker rooms, and then the Sabres had to go ahead and win it in a shootout. Oilers 3-0-1 since then, an overtime win over the Canadiens on Tuesday night. It's difficult to say that it's a much more ideal opponent for Buffalo, given how talented Edmonton is. Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl. We could keep going on, but they play a much more wide open style as compared to the Canucks, who, if you missed that game on Tuesday night, fast, physical, pressure on the puck. The Canucks, even according to their head coach, Rick Tocchet, played their best game in weeks. It was a really impressive performance. They looked like the best team in the Western Conference, which they've earned that distinction through a season of really consistent play. Now, as much as the Oilers are only 8 points back of the Canucks in the Pacific Division, their style of play it leans more into what Buffalo is good at. Possessing the puck, using their speed. It's been a team that Buffalo's actually played pretty well against the last couple of years. McDavid has his fewest points against it. Buffalo is the one team McDavid's produced the least against, although I think he's only played 14 games against the Sabres in his career, COVID and injuries and everything else. So, it looks like we're going to see Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen back in goal on Thursday night. We won't be able to confirm that or the lineup on Thursday morning. What will be interesting is whether or not Granato makes any lineup changes. The healthy scratches the past few games are Lukasz Rusek and Kale Clegg. I can't imagine either of them getting the lineup based on what happened on Tuesday night, but are we going to see a different top line? How is Granato going to move the pieces around the chessboard, especially when you're facing a team like the Oilers who have more than one dynamic line? Is he going to use Cousins, Greenway, and Benson against, McDavid's group? How do you line up against Draisaitl? The one takeaway that you can certainly have from the Sabres game against the Canucks is that Rasmus Dahlin was, you could argue, the best player on the ice, especially in the third period, no question. Their top guys in general are playing very well recently. Even when they're not producing, somebody like Tage Thompson is doing all the little things that you need him to do to produce. The question, though, is can they continue this on the road? This is a very challenging road trip. There is no doubt about it. They acknowledge as much before they even left Buffalo for Detroit back on Friday. This is an 8-9 day trip. Really difficult buildings out in Western Canada. You got Seattle, a team that the Sabres had never beaten before. The Canucks, again, best team in the Western Conference. And now Edmonton on Thursday and Calgary on Saturday. The Sabres need every point they can get. They need help on the out-of-town scoreboards, which did not come on Tuesday night, thanks to, no thanks to Detroit scoring the tying goal with 12 seconds remaining, and then Patrick Kane winning it in overtime. More balanced attack, more offense is going to be needed against the Oilers. The Sabres only had 10 shots on goal through 2 periods on Tuesday. That's not sustainable. As Alex Tuck said post-game, it took them way too long to get going. How are they going to respond? A day off on Wednesday will certainly help. After a really difficult back-to-back where you're crossing the border, you got to go through customs, you arrive late, no morning skate, a lot of dynamics in play, but the schedule the rest of the trip should allow not only for rest, but also transitioning from one opponent to the other. Calgary's going to be a difficult one on Sunday night. The Sabres will have an off day on Friday, practice on Saturday. There's a lot of different intricacies here, but the lineup is something to watch, and of course, the power play. you could call it the elephant in the room, but this has been an issue all season long. Now, entering Tuesday night, the Sabres were 9th in the NHL over the previous month. Drastic improvement, and really, we've seen a different looking top group since Bo Byram arrived in the Middlestad trade a few weeks back. But too many self-inflicted mistakes that eventually gave the Canucks momentum. Rick Tocchet said at postgame, that first penalty kill of the game, that really gave Vancouver the boost that it needed. They felt much better about their defensive strategy after that penalty kill and sort of rode that momentum through the rest of the game. So still, we won't have more updates again until the morning skate Thursday, but certainly a lot of storylines coming out of that game Tuesday night, including Devin Levi's another one that is important to mention. You could certainly take issue with the first goal. He went too hard into his right post, didn't get set in time, got beat on that low rebound by Connor Garland. But I think the one takeaway you have to have there is that Levi settled in, gave them a chance. That's all you could really ask for, especially from a young goalie who had spent the last couple of months in Rochester. I'm Lance Lysowski, the Buffalo News here in Vancouver, on my way to Edmonton. Take care.